A few things to learn about getting games, DLC, and updates installed on your jailbreakable PS4. Now, there is an application in the Homebrew store, which unfortunately I cannot mention or talk about. It exists in the Homebrew store, but I cannot mention it because obviously YouTube would not be particularly happy with me. In this particular video, I'm going to be talking about the manual way of installing games, DLC, and updates. So let's go ahead and get into it here. So the first thing to note here is that all games, DLC, and updates are installed as package files. They're basically like APK files on an Android phone, where you can install apps from unknown sources. We can use the debug settings or the package installer inside GoldHen to install these package files. Now there's two different types of package files for the PS4. There's retail package files, which are like the official packages that you would get from Sony. When you download a game update, it comes as a retail package, or you download a game from the PSN store, that is a retail package that gets installed, and it requires a license in order to be able to unpack and run that package file and get that game running. Now, what we have for jailbroken PS4s is we have something called FPKGs, or fake packages, and these are decrypted versions of the game that have been rebuilt into a package file that's signed with a common key that the Homebrew enabler is able to decrypt and run. So those are the types of package files that we need to use when we are installing our games, our DLC, and our updates on our jailbreakable PS4. So just to demonstrate this, I've got two versions of Bloodborne here. One is a retail version and one is a fake package version. And they both show up with the padlock symbol when we're not running the jailbreak, and they'll both tell me that I cannot use this content when I try to run them. However, when we have the jailbreak loaded and we're running GoldHen, you'll notice that one of them is still padlocked because it's the retail version, and it will not allow me to run it. It says cannot use this content, but the other version of Bloodborne I am able to run because it is a fake package version, and GoldHen is able to allow me to run it. So that is why we need to use the thick package versions of these games, and it can be a little deceiving because both retail packages and fake packages look the same on your computer. There's nothing really to kind of differentiate them between each other. So let's go ahead and look at how we can actually sort through this. So if I switch over to my computer, there's a handy application you can use to get the details about the type of package files that you're installing. It's called the PS4 Package Viewer by Owlman, version 1.5 or higher. I'll leave it linked down in the video description. If you download this application and copy it somewhere on your computer where you're not going to accidentally delete it, so somewhere in your documents or your app data or your program files, copy it somewhere in there. And then what we can do is we can take any package files that you've downloaded and you can basically right-click on them and you can go to Properties, and then where it says Opens with Unknown Application, you can click Change, and then you can select the PS4 Fake Package Viewer. You'll have to go down to Choose an App on this PC, select that option, and then you can select the PS4 Fake Package Viewer.exe and click Open, and then click Set as Default, and that will set that application as the default program to open package files with. So now you can just double-click on any package file, and it will give you the information about the package. So if we double-click on this one here, this is PT, and you can see this version of PT down in the bottom left. It says Game Official US. It says the official version. That means it's a retail package file, not a fake package file. Whereas if we look at the other version of PT that I have here, if we double-click on this one, it says it is a fake version in brackets, and that means that we can run this version on our jailbreakable PS4s. So that is how you can tell if your package file is a retail version or a fake version. Okay, so I'm going to use Resident Evil 4 for this example. So when you download a game, typically they'll come in compressed formats. So sometimes you will just get the package file directly. Other times it will be compressed into, like a zip archive, a WinRAR archive, a 7-zip archive, something like that. And a lot of the time they're also split into multiple parts, so it looks something like this, where you've got 001, 02, 03, or part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. You want to make sure all of those files are all in the same folder, so all of the parts are in the same folder, and then you can just use a program like WinRAR or 7-zip in order to unpack them. So I've got 7-zip installed. I'll leave it in the description. You can just right-click on the first part, part 1, and then you can go to 7-zip here and extract here, and then that will extract them all. Now again, sometimes they're also password protected, so you'll need to, wherever you got them from, you'll need to make sure that you have the password. and then you can go ahead and enter the password there and get it unpacked. Again, not all of them have passwords, but some of them do sometimes. And that's it. It will just go through and extract every single part until you have the final package file. Sometimes they're multi-layered as well. In other words, they will compress them in one format and then compress that in another format. So when you unpack the first set of archives, there's like another set of archives, another bunch of parts that you then have to extract as well. So it just depends how, the uploader has handled it, but generally that is essentially what you need to do there. Okay, so now that we have that extracted, you can see we've got the package file now. We can go ahead and get rid of all of these other parts for the compressed version, and we now have our package file. And I'm just going to repeat this process with the game update as well as the DLC packs. We've got the game package file, we've got the update package file, and we've got a bunch of DLC packs for the game as well. So in order to install these successfully, you need to make sure that they are all for the same game version. So if we double click on the game package file, which is obviously going to be the biggest file size. So if we double click on that one, you can see here it says it is the game package here. And if we scroll down, it will give us the title ID, which is CUSA 33388. So this is the specific European version of the game 33388. So if I double click on the update file, we need to also make sure that the update file matches. So you can see it's also for title ID 33388. So it's good. And you can see it shows it's a patch and a fake package version. And then the same with the DLC. If we double click on this DLC pack, you can see it says it's an add-on/theme, big package version, and it's also for 33388. So all of these packages should work with each other. So all you need to do is copy these to the root of a USB drive. So we're going to grab our USB drive, make sure it's formatted in exFAT format, otherwise the PS4 will not be able to detect it. So we're going to go into this USB drive and we're going to just drag and drop all of our package files into the root of the USB so that we can install them on our PS4. Okay, and once you have all the package files copied over to your USB stick, we can go ahead and eject it and plug it into our PS4. Now, if you don't have a USB drive, you can send the package files over the network. Instead, you can do this using FTP. So if you go into the Gold Hen settings and you go to the server settings, you can enable the FTP server. And if you have a network connection on your PS4, it will give you the IP address and port number in the notification. And then from there, if we switch back over to our computer, you can use an FTP client on your computer like FileZilla or WinSCP to enter the IP address and port number. You can then connect to your PS4's hard drive over the network and go to the data folder. And then inside the data folder, you can create a new folder called PKG. And then inside the PKG folder, you can then copy any additional package files that you want to install. So for instance, we can just take some of these package files for the DLC. We can copy them over directly to the hard drive over the network. So if you don't have a USB drive, that is an option, but just make sure that you delete these package files off the hard drive once they've been installed. Otherwise, you basically have 2 copies of them that are taking up additional space on the PS4. So anyway, if we switch back over to the PS4 here, let's say we want to install these package files now. So if we go back into the Gold Hen settings, we can go to the debug settings, and if we go to the package installer, all of the package files on our USB drive show up here. You can also change the package source to the hard drive to HDD, and then the ones that we copied over, the DLC packs we copied over to the hard drive are then available to install. So obviously I have all of them on the USB drive here, so I'll switch it to the USB. So we'll go to the package installer and we will install all. You can either install them individually by selecting them with X, or you can hit the install all button to install all of them at once. So we'll say yes to install all, and it will install the game, the update, and of course all of the DLC packs that we have there. And all you need to do is just wait for this to finish. Okay, there we go. Everything is installed. We're still getting all the pop-ups for all the different DLC packs. But if we head back here to our home menu, you can see that we do in fact have the game installed. And if we hit the options button, we can go to information, and you can see it says we're on version 1.04, which was the update that I installed on there. And if we go to view add-ons, we can see all of the different add-ons that have been installed. So we have all of these DLC packs, as well as, of course, the game and the update. So let's run it, make sure it works. It's a fake package version, so we can load it no problem. And of course, we'll make sure that all the DLC's working. One of the things to note when installing DLC in particular, if you want to make sure that you're installing the highest game update possible, because obviously a lot of DLC packs require a new update to actually load the DLC so you can have the DLC installed, but if the update's not installed, this allows the DLC to run, then the DLC will not show up in-game, and it will appear as though the DLC isn't installed when actually it is installed. It's just you don't have a high enough update installed to use that DLC. I just want to get to the point where it can show that the DLC is loaded, which should be right here. There we go. Obtained costumes for Leon and Ashley. So these are all DLC packs here that is showing are all being enabled. So we've got the Lux weapon, accessories, expanded treasure map, all of that stuff is now installed. There we go. So as you can see, the DLC is actually installed and everything is now up and running and we can play the game. So that is how you get games DLC and updates installed. Now there's still a few more things to mention here because even if you have a game update that is for the same game version, the same title ID, you can still run into an issue where it will fail to install. You'll get an error message when trying to install it in the package installer. Even though it is the correct version, it's a fake package version and it's for the right title ID, you can still run into this error. And this error occurs when you've basically got the game and the update from two different sources, meaning that the update was built on a different version of the game, though technically the same game version, but a different copy of the game, shall we say, that it was built on, and that's what causes it not to work. So there is a way to fix this by remarrying the game update to your version of the game. It doesn't take long, there's a tool that makes it quite simple, but if you are running into that error, then stick with me here so I can show you guys how to fix it. We switch back over to the computer. The fix for this is relatively straightforward. All you need to do is download a program called PS4 Tools or PS4 Tools V41 or higher. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. This is a very handy tool set. All you need to do is extract this out to a folder, just like with the PS4 thick package viewer. Put it somewhere on your computer where it's not going to get deleted. And then if you open up that folder, you will have the option number 1, run.cmd. If you double-click that, that will install everything. Once it's all installed, you'll get a new menu option that will be built in whenever you right-click on a package file. So once that's run, if we go into our USB drive here, I've deleted all of the other DLC packs that we installed. We've just got our game and our game update. So let's say this game update is not allowing us to install it on top of this version of the game. All you need to do is get your game package file here, along with the update package file, in the same folder, highlight both of the files, the update and the game, and then if we right-click, we can go to PS4 Tools, and then we have this remarry option here that we can select using the tool set, and then it will remarry the game with the update. Now this is quite a big process, but this tool set basically does everything for you, so you don't have to really do anything. So what it will do is it will unpack the update file and then rebuild it again using your version of the game as the base, so that it will then work with that version of the game and it will allow it to install. So you do need to make sure you have enough space on your USB or your hard drive, whatever you're doing this on, because, if it's a really big game and it's extracting, the game update and rebuilding it, then there's going to be like multiple instances of that game update's file size on your hard drive, which could be like 3 or 4 times the size. So just make sure you have enough storage space in order to do this. So we extracted it and now it's just rebuilding it back into an update file. Okay, and there we go. Once this is done, you can see there Resident Evil 4 Backport 1.04 update remarried. So there it is. If we close out of this, you can see we now have the remarried version, which is the same exact file size as the original. So it's the exact same update, it's just been rebuilt for your version of the game, the version of the game that we selected. So if we delete the original update and we install the remarried version, it should no longer run into that error. We should be able to install it just fine. And as you can see there, when we go to install it, it is now installing. When to check to make sure that has installed successfully, if we check our game and go to options and information, you can see it's showing the correct game version. It's now being updated. So that is how you fix that particular problem. Anyway, that is basically how you install games, DLC, and updates on a jailbreakable PS4. Hope you guys enjoyed this video or found the information useful. Stay tuned to the channel for more videos on other things that you can do with your jailbroken PS4. There is a playlist linked in the description, so check that out, and it will show you all the videos that I've made on this so far. So I hope you guys